Good morning. I'm Bill Cook from the University of Arizona Cooperative Extension in Greenlee County. We're out here pruning fruit trees today, and this is just a real good opportunity to talk about tools. Tools influence the health of your plant down the road. It's every bit as important to have the right tools as it is to have the right technique. So the first thing we're going to need here is bypass tools. Here's a pair of hand clippers, and bypass means that the cutting blade passes the jaw, the hook as I call it, and makes the cut right there. Same thing with your loppers. The anvil type that they sell in so many hardware stores and garden centers fray bark and leave a mess, because the idea is that we're trying to make a clean cut. When you make a bad cut and what looks to you or me like a tiny little frayed edge, to somebody who's laying eggs that big, that looks like a flashing neon sign for a maternity ward. So we want to keep this stuff as clean as we can. Here's a pole pruner, again, a bypass. One thing to take note of on your bypass tools, only one side of that blade gets sharpened. So the next thing we have is our saws. Now a pruning saw typically cuts on the pull stroke and has a curved blade. This particular one, this is something they call it a turbo blade, if I remember right. It cuts in both directions, which I never really noticed much difference. And then your pole saw, same thing, it's curved. One thing I like about this particular brand and model of blade is that you can sharpen this yourself with the chainsaw file, which is really nice to have that ability. One thing you want to be careful of with your pruning saws, when you cut a limb, that the weight of the limb doesn't bind the blade, because if the blade gets pinched, it'll take the set out of the teeth. The set of the teeth is that every other tooth, one is out this way, this way, this way, this way. Reason for that is that the actual cut itself is wider than the blade, so you're able to move through it. The next thing is a ladder. And official orchard ladders have 3 legs. Well, why is that? For one thing, 3 legs on uneven ground is a whole lot sturdier. For another thing, you can get that leg into the middle of the tree. You can even hook it over a limb to get in closer. It has a wide stance, and it's a lot sturdier on unlevel ground. One thing to keep in mind when you put your ladder to the tree, I like to step on the bottom and stomp up and down and push that leg down firmly into the soil. What you'll find when you start doing that is that every now and then there's a gopher hole down there, and standing 4 steps up is not when you want a leg of the ladder to fall into a gopher hole. Another little handy item that I like to carry is a sanitizer. I like to sanitize my tools between uses, particularly if you're cutting out, say, fire blight in pear trees. Any disease, any question, sterilize your tools so you don't spread things. So for more information on tools, tool maintenance, sanitizers, and all that, go to our YouTube channel, UACE Greenlee, I believe it is, and there is a video on tool maintenance that tells you everything you need to know about how to sharpen it, how to adjust it, and how to keep it clean, and the tools required for that process.